Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be doing a little update on our Pendulum Magician deck profile that we uploaded a little while ago on Dueling Book. This is what I'm going to be playing up until the ban list hits, hopefully in mid-September. I'm a little tired of this format, as is everyone else. I made a couple of competitive changes to this. Might be taking it to the Philly Regional this weekend, if I can get a ride there. Hopefully I can, and if I do, I'll get a regional report out, see how this deck performed. I have real confidence in it. I just took it to locals and went X2, went to top 4 and lost. But that was basically my test run with this build, and I really liked it a lot, so I thought I'd share it with you guys, just update with what I profiled before. So we're just going to go into it with 3 Skull Bat Joker, Searcher, why not, 3 Purple Poison for the Magicians starting out, 3 Harmonizing, and 3 Double Iris. This is your 3 ofs. These are the cards that you need the most, pretty much all the time. They're your best. These 2 right here, your Poison and your Double Iris, are the best ones to have in your scale. And Harmonizing is the best one to Pendulum summon, obviously. We also play 2 copies of Black Bang, which is really nice recursion for late game, especially when you're running out of resources. It's also a nice high scale, level 4 Magician, just all around good card. And 1 Oath Dragon, mainly for recycling Harmonizing out of your extra deck, because when it gets ashed, it's really nice to be able to just grab it out of your extra deck and you use it again next turn. So Oath Dragon really likes to draw out Ghost Ogre as well, because they're really scared of Harmonizing, rightfully so, but the Ghost Ogre being gone out of your opponent's hand tends to cause more problems for them in the long run. And then I run a Luster Pendulum, which is searchable off of Duelist Alliance, which is pretty awesome. Just pop a Poison, and then pop your opponent's card and search another copy of it. Pop Double Iris, get a search turn 1, which is really nice. And then we also play 1 tech for Performapal King Bear. It's searchable by Broad Bowl, and it's a high scale, and it helps to recycle Astrograph Sorcerer. So it's actually really nice, just card to have in there, just in case for those situations where you need them. It's also a really nice card to side out, so makes siding a little bit easier. Speaking of Astrograph Sorcerer, we play 3 of him. He's pretty busted. Whenever you get ogred, you can just special Astrograph Sorcerer and just keep going. It's really nice on your opponent's turn too, because they'll go for game, won't realize that you have an Astrograph Sorcerer, just special it out. Hopefully survive another turn. And then here's the part that people aren't going to like. I incorporated a Zodiac engine because I have to in order to stay competitive. Everyone knows this at this point. If you don't have a Zoo engine already in whatever deck you're playing, you don't really have an excuse anymore. It got its reprint. The cards are absolutely dirt cheap. I picked up the entire engine for $10. Extra deck, 3 Barrage, and these guys for $3. I mean $10, sorry. But it's dirt cheap. Everyone's scared it's going to get banned, so you need to pick it up now. But this extends your deck so incredibly much. I didn't expect it to be that insane, but on turn 1 it helps you pop Double Iris and set a time Pendulum Graph. And if you're sitting on a Trident with a Pendulum Graph and a Hammer Cone backing up your Trident, your opponent's really going to have a tough time, especially if you're going first. And not to mention it draws out hand traps, so your Harmonizing Magician won't get ashed nearly as often. So especially when you open with Barrage, you don't even have to use your normal summon. So they can Ogre or Ash the Barrage all they want, but you're going to normal summon Joker and hopefully eventually Pendulum summon Harmonizing Magician. So it just helps draw hand traps, makes it go plus. Just excellent engine for this deck. It fits in so perfectly. 3 Pendulum Call. You might have noticed that I do not play any Wisdom Eye. I was playing it at 1 originally, but I cut it completely because it clashes so much with Pendulum Call, and this card is just so much better in my opinion, because people's argument for Wisdom Eye is, hey, it can become any magician you want, and then you can Pendulum summon it out. In my eyes, I really don't want Wisdom Eye ever in my extra monster zone. I'd much rather have a dark spellcaster magician to use with Harmonizing, but also Pendulum Call becomes 2 magicians that you want and also protects them, so I don't see why you would use Wisdom Eye over this card, and playing both is just really cloggy and clashy. I really don't like it at all. And to go with that, I played 2 Duelist Alliance to search it out. I did have this at 3, I think, in my last profile, but I cut it down to 2 because it was getting a little clunky just seeing a Duelist Alliance all the time when I don't need it. Speaking of search capability, you can also search out your Star Pendulum Graph, which is your main Ogre bait. This is going to get Ogre 9 times out of 10 if they have it, because it's your main advantage gaining card, obviously. But that's alright, because you have so many other things that hand traps need to hit in this deck. That's why I like it so much. It's because when you're facing True Draco, obviously you're saving the Ash for the field spell. When you're facing Zodiac, you're saving the Ogre for the Zodiac plays. But with this deck, you have to either Ash the Pendulum Call, the Duelist Alliance, the Joker, the Barrage. You have to Ogre the Pendulum Graph, the Barrage, the Zodiacs, all that stuff. It's just the hand traps can't keep up with it. You don't really got to worry about them too much in this build. And Double Desires, because mainly your combo pieces are at 3. You don't need them. You won't be banishing all 3 most of the time. What I like to do is mainly get my Zoo combo off, maybe even overlay Harmonizing Magician for a Broad Bowl, do all those shenanigans, and then Desires. That way I don't banish, say, a Rapier or my 1 copy of Whiptail. And then that's pretty much the only cards you don't want to banish. So once they're out of the deck, feel free to Desires. 9 times, I'd say 19 times out of 20 even, you're not going to banish anything you need. The worst case scenario is when you banish both of your Time Pendulum Graph. I never ever Desires unless I have one of these out of the deck, because if you banish both of them, you're going to be in a tough spot for the rest of the duel. People will often waste their Galaxy Cyclone or Twin Twisters on your scales, and then you can set this without worrying about any of that. But it's also Ogreable, which sucks, but not on activation. Keep that in mind. But this card is really mighty important, so don't Desires until you have one of these out of your deck, unless you absolutely have to. And then we also play a combo. We play a Thoroughblade, so you can search that with Broad Bowl in case you draw this, discard it, and draw an extra card with Thoroughblade. Obviously, that's what his main use is, but combo is also really nice just to have in the deck, because you don't play a full-blown Zoo extra deck. Obviously, you need room for other stuff, so combo is a good way to get all that crap back into the graveyard so you can do another Zodiac combo. For your extra deck here, we're going to start with links with Decode Talker and Mrs. Radiant. We're obviously playing Zoo, so you're going to be able to summon Mrs. Radiant most of the duels. Decode Talker is there pretty much just in case. For the Synchros, Cyframe Lord Omega is a really nice first turn card. If you can both Synchro and Xyz, but you can't make a Link monster along with that, then you can special Omega in your extra monster zone, use its effect, take a card out of your opponent's hand, and then overlay for something like Time Star Magician, and actually get out another search. So he's really nice to be able to go into first turn and free up your extra monster zone. And he's also really hard to deal with. He's still an excellent card. Just because he got reprinted doesn't mean he's irrelevant. Stardust Dragon. Now, I have been contemplating taking this out for Beals, but I've really enjoyed making a Stardust Trident board along with a Mrs. Radiant or a Decode Talker, which I've done 2 or 3 times now. Stardust is a really difficult card for Trident, or Zodiac in general, to get over without a Whiptail, and most of the time you will have the Trap card or a Trident to blow up with whatever they try to equip a Whiptail to. So Stardust is a really difficult card for them to get over unless they have something, say, Regeki. But if they have it, they have it. We must play an Ignister as mainly an emergency card. It can pull a Luster Pendulum out of the deck and be used for Link fodder, so it's really nice to be able to do stuff like that. And then you can use Ignister's effect before you use him for material too, and blah blah blah. It's really cool. And then for your normal Xyz, you play Castel and Time Star Magician. Now these two are pretty much cards that you don't go into as often, but when you do, they're pretty much needed. Castel is in here because I could not fit an entire Utopia engine. Obviously, the extra deck space is super tight. So I decided the best 1-card option to have in the extra deck for emergencies is Castel. If your opponent peels on you, this is pretty much your only out. It's really helpful in the mirror match because most Pendulum Magician players will be running Beals. And then for the Zodiacs, obviously you need to run a lot because that's just how the engine goes. 2 Trident in case they banish 1 with Earth True King, 1 Broad Bowl, 1 Chakanine, 1 Hammer Cone, 1 Broad Bowl, And then here's the one I decided to play 2 of besides Dryden, and that is Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar helps because you have such a few amount of main deck Zodiac monsters, so when you're out of your one Whiptail and you want him back again, you can go straight into Tiger Mortar, equip that Whiptail back, and then overlay it for your second Trident. So it's really helpful recursion card if you don't get combo into the graveyard. Then you can get that Whiptail back, use its effect, and out any problem cards that you may come across. I wrestled with playing 2 Broad Bowl over the 2 Tiger Mortar, but I assume that once I go through the first Zodiac combo, I'm not going to really ever need Broad Bowl again. It does suck when he gets ogred, but most of the time you're going to be playing that around that with Rapier anyway. So the 2 Tiger Mortar, in my opinion, is a better one to play 2 of. Hammer Kong is for the combo. Broad Bowl is just, or not Broad Bowl, sorry, Borbo is just there in case you're making an awkward Zodiac play that maybe got interrupted somehow. He's just really nice transition card that you have just in case something goes wrong. And that's it for the extra deck. So that was my Pendulum Magician deck profile. I hope you guys like it. This is what I'm going to be playing until the ban list hits at least. As soon as Zodiac gets mashed, I'll update this deck without the Zodiac, and we'll see what we can do with it. Because once Zodiac is out of the picture, this deck might be able to be quite competitive, because as you can see, it's already very competitive with the current stuff. I can't imagine what it will be when the current stuff is gone. So stay tuned for that. I'll have an update for this soon, and see you guys next time.